about halfway through a bowl of Pipeworks and Wilke Vermont maple, courtesy of Briar Fire. Sorry, Chris. I find that hard to say 3 times fast. Nice guy, and so he's mostly an aromatic smoker. So he sent me some stuff to try. We did a little tobacco exchange, and so I'm trying this stuff. I like the idea of maple, of any of the flavors. Somehow it seems like kind of a good match with tobacco. How did cherry come about? You know, it just doesn't seem like it matches tobacco very well. But vanilla, okay, yeah. So you can get a lot of different flavors out there. It's a little scary for us non-aromatic smokers. But anyway, like most aromatics, I find almost no flavor with this. I mean, it's strange. I detect smoke, but no flavor. And if I would smoke instead of talk, I could probably keep it going pretty good. We'll see if it bites me a little later on. It's no doubt burley. I should have looked it up. Anyway, this pipe is a Yello Bole handmade from the, I'm guessing the 1950s. Could have been anywhere from the 40s to the 60s, I think. I remember seeing ads in Time and Life, not Time, but Life magazine and Look, maybe. Somewhere for Yello Bole pipes. And their claim to fame was the Yello Bole when you bought it, which was kind of a pre-treatment of the bowl, which supposedly reduced or eliminated break-in. Who knows? This was a well-used pipe when I got it, so there was no evidence of a Yello Bole in there. I'd be worried if there was. And it has suffered some trauma. Obviously, oh, who knows, it fell out of a car and bounced along the street perhaps, or more likely a dog got it and gave it a few chews. It was probably rescued fairly quickly, but there are a few little gougy scrapes all around. So and the bit has a chunk missing out of the tip there. But that's actually not a big issue for me because of those vinyl bits that I use. You just don't really work the end of the bit much with that. So, anyway. And I reamed it to 5/32, which is the shank, which is what I normally do. And a pipe cleaner goes nicely through the bit, but I still get a little air noise, like a little turbulence in there. So I don't know. I've done pretty much all I can do. Reaming out the bit, yeah, I don't know. I stop at that. I'm not going to do that. I'll clean it real well, but I'm not gonna ream it. So, and I had the tenon was a little loose in the shank, but I'll tell you what, beeswax, just rub the tenon on some beeswax and kind of coat it and then stick it in it, and it is a miracle cure. It if it's real tight, it'll lubricate it. If it's loose, it'll provide a little more snug fit. I mean, it's really amazing, and it's all natural, and it's cheap. So what's not to like? Anyway, I hope the room note is good. There's nobody here to appreciate it. So you can hear that kind of whistling. That's annoying. Oh, a little wet too. Not surprising, the tobacco felt a little moist in the pouch. So, but yeah, the idea of a maple, I'd be tempted to smoke a maple if I had to smoke an aromatic. But I don't, so I'm probably not going to be smoking aromatics. They just don't give me anything, you know? What do you guys get out of an aromatic? The flavor? I don't think so. Maybe my taste buds are more jaded or worn out or whatever, but it was just the mildest smoke. I want a little flavor. I want a little body. I want a little multi-dimensional something going on there. To each their own. I guess it's smoking okay now. Don't need to light a match. This pipe is really small. It's light, you know. It's not that small, actually. The bowl's chamber's fairly large. Got a nice size to it. I like the poker shape. I'm kind of drawn to pokers for some reason. Even though some of those big Italian or custom-made pokers, you know, they're like this huge thing. And a lot of it's kind of wasted wood if the shank comes in a third of the way up or something. You're carrying around a lot of wood. Ugh. Make your neck hurt. But you get style points, I guess. Yeah, there's a little gurgle going on. So I'm using my older camera, which I really like better. I got a little Canon to take on a trip. And it does HD video, but god dang, the files are monstrous, you know? So this is just VGA, and it'll have to do. But I think that's one reason that YouTube is kind of perked up, is everybody now has video capability on their little cameras and on their phones. Although the phone videos are pretty crappy still, I think. iPhone is still the best, but it's still pretty awful, if you ask me. I don't know. And there's a little something going on there. A little snag. Prickly, no? Truck up on the highway. Ah, the sound of a Jake. Ah. So anyway, it's a Sigma DP1, which I'm using. And I love the camera. It's so simple. It gives great results. It has an SLR size sensor. It's a foveon sensor, so it's a totally different way of collecting light than the Bayer sensors in every other camera. So they just came out with a new version of the chip that triples the size of the files and the resolution, the megapixel resolution. And I was kind of tempted. I was like, oh God, these things are expensive, and they're cranky. They're slow. I was reading a review of the SLR version that uses that same new sensor, and they said it takes like 15 seconds to write a big RAW file to a SD card. And this thing takes 3 seconds, which seems like an eternity. But it lets you shoot RAW. And the software that comes with it is flawed, of course. But, boy, you can get some great results. So, but it's just VGA output video-wise. So, but I like the camera. I don't think I'll probably upgrade. I've already been through another one of these when it got wet out on the boat. I had to send it in. But the service, Sigma, is in Brooklyn, New York. Or the Bronx, I don't know, somewhere in New York City, Metro. And, boy, they were great. They were great service. So, It's cranky and individualistic and somewhat lacking in modern speed and amenities. But then that's kind of like a pipe smoker, right? We're just kind of anachronisms as well. But do some things really well. So, it's consistent, I guess. I'm going to go to the upcoming Portland. They're calling it a convention. Well, okay. Portland Pipe Smokers Convention. I can't miss that. I can't miss that. So that'll be fun. I'll take some well, the question is, what do you take? What pipes do you take? Oh God, I'll be sitting up at night, wide awake, thinking, what pipes am I going to take? Not really. Probably take some Vulcan Supreme to share, because God knows I have a shitload of that. Kind of stocked up. But it's my favorite, so. And it's cellaring nicely. It's like 2 years old now, and it's, I bought a bale, like a 5-pound bale. It's kind of crazy. But at the time, Washington State was talking about imposing, punishing taxes, and it might have, or imposing taxes on incoming tobacco, which they did. But it was threatening to stop all supply via email or via mail into the state for tobacco of any type. Well, we can't have that. So I stocked up. And decided it never really came to pass. I mean, it did and it didn't. They kind of cracked down on cigarettes. I know people who were buying cartons and cartons from the East Coast for cheap. If you go to an Indian reservation here, you can buy cartons and cartons pretty cheap. So, anyway, the tax didn't really come to pass, and so life returned to normal. But I bought a lot of it, so I'll take some of that to share. I may take some of these, some of the vinyl, to show people how that works. I'm really sold on that. Just gives you something to clench with, so you can talk and hold your pipe at the same time. So. And they last like forever, really. I mean, compared to those rubber softy bits, no comparison. So, anyway, we'll take the camera and I'm sure there'll be numerous people doing videos there. It's what we do. So anyway, that'll be fun. Alright. Off to the day. Yeah, this is about done. Where is the flavor? There is none. But thanks, Chris. I appreciate you sharing it with me. It just kind of confirms for me about aromatic blends.